Hello and welcome to Hello and Welcome with me, Demi. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to get flawless, sparkling, glow from within skin using makeup. I love doing my skin and this was so fun to do and I can't wait to do it with you. Let's get started. First things first is you need to moisturize your face before you start doing your makeup. I use Tatcha's The Water Cream. I've already moisturized my skin so it is feeling really good and ready to go. After that, I'm using a liquid shimmer highlighter by LA Colors. This is in Candlelight. You can actually get this product at the Dollar Tree. Tested it under my foundation and I thought it looked really nice and it'll really help kick up that glow from within sort of effect. I just take a little bit. Before you even do this, is think about where your lighting is. I'm being lit straight on, so I know where the high points are that I want to put this highlighter. So I'm gonna put a little bit in the center of my forehead right here, and a little bit on each cheekbone, a little bit on the tip of my nose, and then on my chin as well, right? Take a mirror and make sure that it's all blended out the way that I want it. Now you got a little bit of an extra highlight. Next, of course, I'm gonna go in with my concealer. First, before you put on any foundation, I always do concealer first. Now something a little different. Generally I use brushes. I probably will use a sponge as I go along. Now this, I'm hoping to go pretty quick because this is pretty easy. It's not a super long process to get a really beautiful glow from within using makeup. It's definitely something that you can do every day. Now, the key to this is to go ahead and get yourself some sort of highlight. I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, and what you need is something that's a little bit lighter than your concealer that will help you highlight just the center of where you're putting the concealer, and that will help give you a really beautiful extra brightness that will shine from underneath your foundation and really give you that beautiful glow from within. You see? Right there, and you just want to keep it towards the center of your face because what this is doing is it's just brightening. Even though it looks a little alarming as you're putting it on, it will really add a lot once you get to the stage where you're adding your foundation. Don't be afraid to put on product. That's what I see a lot of people who are really starting out with makeup. Their biggest issue is that they're afraid to put on product. They end up having too little to really make the difference. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Marc Jacobs brush and start blending those two together at the edges. Once you've done this, I like to go back to my beard line right here and like right on top of my beard line, right underneath where I'm gonna put my contour, I will add a little bit of whatever's left of this highlight. And I'll just go right in, right above the beard line. Boom. And that'll help sharpen and delineate between, especially for guys who have facial hair, this will really help delineate between your contour and your beard line so that it doesn't become a muddy mess throughout all of here, which it can easily be if you're someone who has facial hair. So next, I'm gonna do my contour. Today I'm using Makeup Revolution Define and Conceal in C18. If I were using this over foundation, I would be using something that didn't have so many red tones in it. It would be a little bit too red on me for my undertones. Underneath the foundation, it's pretty good because it gives me a little bit of a bronzing effect before I put on any powder. So that really works for me. And I enjoy that very much. Beautiful. And never forget your nose contour, which I forgot. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but I can tell the difference with that liquid highlight that I put underneath it. It just has, especially over here, it just has sort of a shine that's coming through that's really reflecting, and that's because I thought of the lights and the way that I wanted it to reflect off of my skin. I always blend my contour up when I'm blending my nose contour, because even though it will look kind of a muddy mess on the nose, it won't look like it on the cheeks where I have all of that highlight that I spent that time on. And then that is my whole base underneath my foundation done. I'm using today, I'm using the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I put a little bit on the back of my hand. This is gonna be for my forehead. And now I'm just going to start dotting that. I'm using a brush for this specifically because it just really blends it very well and lightly, which is what you want to keep in mind when you're doing this step, when you're doing your foundation, is that you want to apply your foundation very, very lightly. You can always build up if you need more coverage, but as you can see, in building it lightly, the way that I have, I am allowing products that are underneath to really, really shine through. As long as you're in control of the products and you really think about what you're trying to achieve and then act accordingly, you don't have to worry about it. It's very easy. Now moving on to powders. You want to set underneath your eyes with whatever powder is brightening. Remember a little bit earlier I told you that I was going to use a beauty blender instead of all brushes this time? This is the time where you use your beauty blender. I'm taking a dampened beauty blender. This is just the regular one. I don't know if it has a name, but it's from Morphe. And my mirror, and I'm gonna go underneath my eyes. I have, I guess, like skin or whatever under your eyes that people have sometimes, but what it will do was it will crease. So I'll take my beauty blender and I'll just maneuver under my eyes to make sure that there's product covering everywhere that I want it to be and that it's not creasing, and it will help meld a lot of these products together. Now once that's done, what I like to do is, before I do anything else, I will take just a powder brush, just a sort of thin powder brush. This is the like a rounded powder brush. This is the M536 from Morphe. I'll dip right into my little brightening setting powder, and I'm using the yellow powder from Beauty Bakery, and then I'll just go right underneath my eyes and set. Whew, I have so much powder on me, but it's okay. Go ahead and let it bake. But I like to bake because it has a brightening effect, one, and two, it makes your skin look just flawless. Then I pick up a powder puff. This is just my old crusty dusty powder puff that I use for everything on myself. And then I go back into that powder with that powder puff, and I just get myself a nice little crease here. And I go ahead and I bake right around where my nose contour is, right until it covers right to the edge of where that nose contour is. Mask the edges of the contour, which is important if you're going for a very snatched, like perfect looking nose. And what I also do, which I know many people will not be doing, is I take just a little pencil brush. This is the M321 from Morphe, and I dip back into that setting powder. This is so extra, you do not have to do this. And I go right to the center of my nose, and I just lay that powder down on the center of my nose, just drawing a line. And now what that does is it again has an additional brightening effect, so that your highlight will stand out even more because you've brightened there, and it just helps really shape out and make that area that you're doing this on very precise. I get a little bit more powder, and remember how I said right in front of where my beard area is, I had that line that I made with powder. Now I mean that I made with the cream. Now I go back in with my powder and I just add it right there, right above the hairline, just to set that and just to further cut out that, and you can already see. And now I kind of let this sit for just a couple of minutes, and then we can move on to bronzing. This is how I take off my bake when I'm doing this brightening look. I'm taking my Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC in the shade Blonde Caramel. It's dark, but I call it Blonde Caramel because it looks like this. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to get a little bit on that same brush that I used to apply the bake, and I'm using that to dust off. And this powder has a little bit of a shimmer in it, Really? Yeah, exactly. And I just take my little pointer brush again, my little pencil brush again, and I just go right into that mineralized skin finish with that pencil brush, and then dust away that powder on the center of my nose. You're welcome. You are so welcome. I don't know how I do it. Wow. I'm going to be very light with the bronzer because I don't like really need it that much, because we've done all of the hard work already. So now all we're doing is we're sort of setting our contour. I'm using the Morphe Brontour in Showman. I'm just going right where I have that contour. Today I'd like to look very natural, just beautiful and fresh and free, so that as you turn, you can just see the beauty and the gorgeousness and the glamour. Now I'm gonna take a slightly bigger, sort of fluffy brush. I'll go in and blend a little bit more. Okay, like that. When you're picking your highlight for something like this, you really want to think about what highlighter is going to complement your skin tone and what effect that you're going for do you want to look. Just like when you turn, people are like, wow, he has really beautiful skin. If you really want them to be standing there and for people to see you across the room and be like, damn, she's glowing like a lighthouse. You're already halfway there, more than halfway there. You're doing great. You want to look and see where your cheekbones are or where you've placed them based on your contour. Like on this side, you can see where my cheekbone is sticking out right here because of the illusion made by that contour. I don't have very protuberant cheekbones because I am a gentleman of a certain size. But I have given myself the illusion of having more obvious cheekbones. So that's where I'm going to place my highlight. And I like to take my highlight right up here from the top all the way down to my cheek. And I like my highlight to be visible both from the front and from the side. One step that you can do before this, if you really want a blinding highlight, is to spray your face with setting spray before you do your highlight. And I'm just going right above my brow bone, hit that cupid's bow, and the chin as well. And I dip back into that highlight again. And this is where I go for my nose. Now, when I do my nose highlight, I go right here into this dip, right here in the center. And then I take a little bit more and I just paint it a little bit on the tip of my nose. I am going to add blush today, but I'm going to use a shimmer blush because I'm still going for that glowing from within sort of effect. So I'm taking my James Charles and Morphe palette. I'm going into the shade right here. It's called Literally, and it's sort of a shimmery pinky color. Then I go right in onto my cheeks, smiling so you know exactly where the apples of your cheeks are. Just smile, and then you can find the apples of your cheeks, and then just place. Boom, 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 boom. Love that. Isn't that beautiful? How do I do it? I'm so good at makeup. I'm so proud of myself right now. Now I just take a little bit of a kabuki brush, which is just a short, sort of denser brush, and I use that to blend everything. My blush with my highlight with my contour, and I just sort of just to the edge of that contour and where that blush is, and just blend those two together. See, now we're done with this base. So I'm taking my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray, and I'm just gonna go ahead and give my face a good spray. Love it. Now that this is sprayed, take my mirror. This is just for me. I take my dampened beauty sponge and I just sort of press in places. And this is a good time to look while your face is still wet and see if there's any product that you want to get off. If you have a little bit too much, and just lightly tap over with your beauty sponge just to soften now that it's all wet, and it'll also help you put everything together and just sort of seal you in and make you perfect. That's it. that's all I have to give you. This is the finished look. You can go ahead and do your brows, you can put on a lash, you can do whatever you want. I'm not doing nothing. This is it. This is it for now. I might do a little eye look and put up a picture or something like that, but this is how to achieve perfect, glowing, glow from within skin using makeup. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something from it, and I hope you like the look that you've just finished with me. Send me pictures, tag me on Instagram, and let me know how you look. I'm so excited to see it, and I'm so excited to see you again next time. Mwah.